Ms. Sophia Vari. Thank you for accepting to do the interview with us. And let's start by telling us your place of birth and your early years and your family's background, where the parents came from. Yeah, Pesma
Okay,
Sophia.
so do you want I speak English or Greek? What do you prefer?
Όσο μπορούμε αγγλικά για να γλιτώσουμε να κάνουμε τους υπότιτλους.
So we can speak English. No, English. We can speak English, of course. Yet sometimes if I don't remember something, I'll say it in Greek. Well, I have been born near Athens at 40. I will be in October, actually 18 years old. It was the beginning of the war. And so my father is Kanelopoulos, very Greek, and my mother was Hungarian. And so I don't have any memory of Greece because I didn't even have 1 year that my parents took me and we went to Switzerland. It was a terrible traveling, what they told me, because of course the war had begun and it was very difficult, but I arrived in Switzerland and I stayed in Switzerland. I was living in Switzerland like till I was the age of 10. And of course, my mother was speaking Hungarian to me. I forgot all my Hungarian. My father was not so much with us, so his Greek I never heard. So when I came back with my mother, actually, my father stays in Switzerland. I arrived in Greece. I was 10 years old, and I didn't know not a word of Greek. I found the country devastated because it was, of course, after work, it was the worst moment. People was in the street, no food. It was something absolutely dramatic. I was coming from Switzerland, that everything was so neat and perfect, and they told me, that is your country. I didn't know nothing about it. I had a big shock. And maybe that shock made me to love Greece tremendously, more than any other Greek, because I had the need that they had to adopt me. They have to understand there had been a way when they were all suffering, but it was not my fault. And I was coming back, being not suffering. I had everything for me. Everything was nice for me. And now I'm coming back to a country that it was a disaster. I was living with my grandmother, Sophia Kanelopoulos, that it was somebody exceptional. She made me love even more Greece. She made me understood everything about it, because we are very different. We are very, very different. We are very Oriental also. We still are, thank God. We are different as everybody. And that difference makes all what I love so much. So I began to go to school in Greece, not one word of Greek. The children was very tough with me because, of course, who is that girl who's coming after all the disaster that we passed and blah, blah, blah. That was a terrible period. But then I passed that period. I went to school. Everything went well. And, at 18 years old, they sent me in England my parents sent me in England that I have to speak English. I hate it. I must say I hate it totally. And after that, I was nearly 19 years old when, you know how it was in Greece. You could not choose at my time, no? Now, of course, it's totally different. But my parents arranged a marriage. And I got married. I never even thought that I could say no or yes. It was like this. It was the custom. I did it. And with my husband, we came to Paris. I was just 19 years old, very young. And I love Paris. it was because most of everything, it was so much art that I could see. Of course, in Greece, I was absolutely, but I didn't know yet what I want exactly to do of my life. What I wanted is to survive of many problems, family problems. That was the most important. And then I kept inside me everything I have saw in Greece about so fantastic art, most Kikaziki period, who it was amazing for me. The caryatid of the Acropolis, that everything was in my mind. And I arrived in Paris, and I was all the time in exhibition, but traditional. I was in the Louvre, I was in the Impressionist, everything. I was like eating art. I was hungry of that. And then I begin, of course, I begin to try to do what I think I could do better. Not I could be successful, just that I could do better, trying to draw, trying to paint. Because, of course, I was more shall we say, I like it more the sculpture, but you know, when you are very young and you don't know nothing and you don't, sculpture is very complicated because, of course, I was, at that time, I was learning. I had been l'École des Beaux-Arts immediately. That was the idea to begin with. I never saw a professor, but that was, I had still a studio. I had a place to work. And, you know, sculpture is very difficult when you don't want to do it in traditional. You want to do it in traditional way because you need foundries, you need plaster, you need a lot of plates. It's very complicated. So I begin with painting, figurative painting, of course, totally figurative. And I was thinking also, you have better to know how to draw, how to paint, before decide what you will be your destination, what it will be your style. You have to know before. So I continue of course, in the Beaux-Arts. Then I continue also with different studios that I share with different artists. And okay, I would go on like this for several years. And very timidly, very sort of, I tried to do some sculptures that it was not at all successful because I didn't have the technique. So time passed. I did some exhibition, of course, of only my paintings in London and other places in Greece. Yolas, in my first exhibition in Greece. And my great, what makes me the most happy, that every summer I was coming back to Greece. And I was staying there 2 or 3 months with my daughter. I have a wonderful daughter. And it was really the moment, the most fantastic for me. And I found another Greece. I love it even more. And because our house was at Varkiza, it was near a little, it was Vari Varkiza. And like an artist, I decided to take the name of Vari. I didn't want to mix the name Kanellopoulos, but at that time Kanellopoulos was, I mean, I will not say important. It was just that it was a great family and there was politician and all that sort of thing. And, you know, at that time, somebody who want to be an artist, doesn't look so good, you know. It was a little bit...
Kanellopoulos,
my grandfather was...
Yeah.
Nico Kanellopoulos was my grandfather.
He was a scholar and also a politician, right?
He was a politician, but he bring in Greece as a politician only for 1 year. He bring the whole industry that was the keramikos, all the industry in the beginning Greece. He bring it. He bring it at that time. He gave it to the cousin. He gave it to everybody. What? That is another story, a big, wonderful story. That man, unfortunately, I could not meet my grandfather. He had already died. But my grandmother, that I adore, totally adore, she was explaining her life with him and everything, and I had a passion for that man without knowing him. And that helps me. That helps me a lot.
When
Yes?
you started to have a desire, a wish to focus on on art. What was the reaction of the family? They were supportive, they were critical of you, they tried to persuade you not to deal with
not
art?
exactly. I was already, when I was 17, after I did the school in England, and before I married, I stayed 1 year in Paris, and I go to the Beaux-Arts in Paris. That's why I continue after my marriage. But I had already decided, I decided that I want to be an artist. Of course, nobody thought never that I could had any success or something. They thought that will be good, well, like others play the piano or do some embroidery or do a very social life. My parents saw it in that way. They didn't criticize nothing because, of course, I got married. That was the destiny of any girl of good family. And I got married, I had a child.
Your husband was Greek or another
Greek.
nationality?
Bouboullis.
Okay.
It was John Bouboullis.
Okay.
So that also an historic family. And then, of course, and he was living in Paris. So he was very open that I'm still to be an artist. He was open that I continue to go to the Beaux-Arts, to learn, to do it. I had a studio. I was working hard. And it was great. But of course, I didn't have any really idea where I will go yet, you know. But I was 22 or 23 years old. That was not too old to know already what I wanted. But what I knew, that the only thing that it was important to me to be an artist, it was not successful or not successful or nothing of that, just to be able to get in my studio and to try to find my way. I was so anxious to be the most time of my life in my studio that I remember, and I was opening the door of my studio. My hands was trembling of the excitement to get in my studio, close the door, and there be with what I was trying to do, trying to find my way. Because, of course, that is the most important, is to find the style. And slowly, I was beginning to know what I wanted. Actually, when you see great art, like I was seeing Piero della Francesca, Rembrandt, El Greco, and all I knew what I like and what I don't like. When you know already what you like, what you are feeling very near what you are seeing, that means that it's already a choice, and a choice that you do in art that brings you to your style. So I went like this for a long time, doing some exhibition, but only painting at that time, and drawing and aquarelle. And after that, I divorced. And it is incredible, I don't know how it came that out, but I had a studio always in Paris, Rue de l'Arrivée, and I had students, they were not students, they were also like me, some young people who were trying to find their way, to try to know something about art, and I have them all together. I don't hear you?
Yes. Hello?
So,
Yeah.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, of course.
Hello?
Yes. I can hear you.
Yeah, so that was the thing. I had all those young people, and some less young. The oldest had 18 years old, who was coming to my studio, and we were working. And I was trying to, shall we say, we're working together to teach them to what I knew, the little things that I knew. I was reading all the books of Ingres, that he was my professor. I was trying to learn the technique, and the technique of Ingres was fascinating me. And so I was trying to explain to them how design, and I was still very classical. Then I had those children like for 11 years, something like this. Then I I discover that time, after all that time, I discover Pietrasanta in Italy, because at that time I was living with Fernando Botero, the great artist, and we were going to Pietrasanta, and I saw the foundries, I saw Carrare, I saw the marble, and then I just understood that.
Ποια ήταν αυτά τα χρόνια? Which decade is this? In late 60s?
I was like 30. I was 36 years old.
So
36 years old.
In early 70s, right? I want to know,
exactly,
as an artist, because as a young artist, you had to create in the social and political atmosphere of France in the 60s, and also in Greece.
Yes.
We know the 60s were a very radical decade. We have the French May of 1968, where with the student movement and the youth movement in France that influenced many artists and many young people. And also in Greece, the situation was peculiar. We are close in a moment of a development from Greece. We had the Greek junta, and then in 1967, and then we saw a great deal of Greek young people, artists included, who moved to France. You tell us about that period of the 60s as a Greek and friend living in France, seeing many Greeks coming from Greece because of the military junta in Greece. You had any connection with them? How the social movement influenced your thoughts, and how the political situation, the social situation influenced your work and thinking in the 60s?
Well, I must say that, of course, I knew all the situation. I was there. I mean, and my studio was at Saint-Germain-des-Prés, so you can understand I was not totally in that situation. But I never participate in anything. Never. I was in my way to think in art. It didn't make influence at all what I was doing, because at that time I was very classical in what I'm doing. Very, very classical with the only thing I want to learn. And I don't think I was not ready to express something that could be totally radical. It could help that situation. Of course, I was very concerned what was happening, but I didn't take part. I didn't do part of that. I was totally outside of that movement, and I didn't even have young people or friends who was in that movement. So I was seeing that a little bit a part of my life, and I was concerned but not participating. That's the thing. Shall we say at that moment, maybe because you are right, maybe without knowing, it influenced me. At that time, I make a series of tremendous big paintings that it was all the how we say, the crucifixion, and then it was Dante, you know, all the horrible l'enfer, how you say it? I'm trying to find the word, l'enfer. L'enfer is,
Inferno. The Inferno.
Yes, thank you, Inferno. Inferno, Dante, and I did tremendous, big, tragic paintings, really tragic. Like it was. I remember that Yolas at that time, he was telling me, but Sophia, how can I do an exhibition with this? It's absolutely so depressing. So that's what I'm feeling. I can't do something different. I have to do that. And so he showed my paintings, and It was in Greece, of course. And that's, I think, as you were saying, before you tell, now that you told me this, Nico, now I'm thinking, just now, that really you are right. Without knowing, I was influenced of that tragedy that was happening, at the movement that was so important. And I could experience only myself with something that it was also very tragic.
Excellent, yes. Because there were many Greeks from Greece in France at that time, you had any interactions with the French, the Greek French community? Do you know that there are communities in France, Greek communities in France? You had any interactions with them, or it was only the French audience that you basically was your core interactions? You had any connections with
no, we had Greek friends, of course. We had a lot of Greek friends, absolutely, but it was not the Greek community, shall we say. The Greeks who were living in France from different generations even, and they were incorporated totally with the French people, like my ex-husband, his family was totally incorporated in France. It was not, shall we say, we sing French and we sing Greek. It was one only thing. And I can't say, the only thing that I was doing, and I did for a long, long time, I was with a Greek church. I was trying to help for everybody that was needed. I mean, and I was going there every week, and I was trying to help, trying to find money, clothing, food for everybody who was very, very poor Greek. That I did a lot of work at that time, but that it was only the way that I was, shall we say, I think that I was useful, and I tried my best. I must say I tried my best, and I'm thinking about 20 years I did this. And so otherwise, all the Greek that we're seeing, I can't say that it was a community. I never, maybe it was, of course, but I never saw the difference. We were all together. I mean, all together. The same thing that I go to Greece. We have a lot of French and English and German, and I don't know, who are living also in Greece, who love Greece and stay there all the time, and everything we all mixed together. I mean, I see it in that way.
Sophia, you have a very cosmopolitan background, which is a major characteristic of many Greek diasporas, because Greeks can be found in many places around the world for many, many years. I would like to say a few things. How the French received you when you were in France, and how the Greeks received you when you were in Greece, and how you identify yourself, your identity. You feel yourself, you self-identify as a Greek, as a French, or a person who can be in different cultures. What people see in you when they meet you?
Look, I have to. It's good that my life has been changing place all the time, and they are a little bit complicated. But I have something who helped me very much. I can fit any place when somebody puts me. I can fit perfectly, because when you think that you need to be accepted, by the Greek, or by the French, or by the English, or by the Italian, because I worked so many years in Italy, 30 years, 40 years I'm in Italy. I was in America Latina, I was New York, of course, and it's not how they will accept you. It was what you do yourself to be accepted. If you try to be accepted, to be understood, to be somebody no antipathic, somebody that they would like to see, even if you are Greek, French, I don't know, anything. It's the effort that you do for the other and not to wait what the other will give to you. That is my grandmother who learned me that when I was 10 years old, and I never forget it. And that helped me a lot in life. But it's what I am in my heart, what I am Greek. I'm 100% Greek. I hear Greek music, I begin to cry. You give me, I don't know, tzatziki, I'm waiting to have my tzatziki. You know, it's amazing how you can feel your country by the food. It's so sensual. Some smells that reminds me things of Greece. When I arrive in Greece, and so many people, oh look, it's so, you don't have any green. What is that? When you arrive at the old airport, when we were arriving, it was all, I thought that desert was absolutely the thing that was beautiful I have never seen in my life. That is to be Greek. But that does not be because feeling like this, that don't you accept all the rest, and that you don't see the good thing of each country, what can bring you something more inside your heart. But when I work, when I have an exhibition, what I want, when I do it, and I did like 15. The Narcos Monumental Exhibition, it was the 15th exhibition I did. Monumental sculptures. I did it in Madrid, I did it in Saint-Germain-des-Prés, I did it nearly every, I did it in Colombia, I did it in New York. Every time that I show my work, because monumental sculptures is outside, it's not that it's a gallery that you don't know who will get in or not. It's outside. People is walking and see your sculpture. If they want it, then what? They have to see them because they are in the street. I was thinking, I want that they see the work of a Greek woman. That it was the only thing that it was important to me. The only thing.
Oh, this is very, very interesting. And since you said with so much conviction that you identify yourself as a Greek, how this Greekness, this sentiment, this understanding of yourself as a Greek, it is translated or transmitted inside of your art. Many artists, Matisse, for example, when he saw the light of Greece, he realized that this is a very specific element for Greek art. That Greek art, or being a Greek artist, is related to light, to colors. How this Greekness, this sentiment of Greekness, is embodied into your art, either unconsciously or consciously. Yeah.
Well, it's a very good question. Of course, the way I feel Greek in my work, that my admiration that it was for everything so harmonious, perfect, incredible, the art in Greece. I said the Cyclic period, or when you go to the museum, all those sculptures, I mean, perfection. So it's some words that I think today that don't exist anymore in art. To try to do beauty, you know what it means in Greece, the word toreo. that we are forgetting. I mean, it's arrived at that point that when you try to communicate the beauty, they look at you the funny way, no? Because that is not the purpose today in art. For me, it's the purpose what I try. I don't say that I have been successful. I will take at the last day of my life, I will always try that, to give beauty, harmony, something peaceful, something that gives to the person who look art feel better. And that is what I find in Greece. It's not only in art. We have the most, yes, the light, but it's not, the light is not the intensity of light. It's the pure light. It's not the intensity of the sea. It's something so pure. It's something that it exists in Greece that gives you the courage to continue illness, sick, old, anything, pain. Trying to communicate that harmony and that beauty that exists in our country.
This is very, very nice. How do you see the art world in Greece? How you see Greek artists or other artists of Greek descent in the diaspora? Do you think that Greece still produces some kind of art? It is a place where we still, there is a collective or individual interest in art, or it is more westernized now and is not what you just described as Greek art. What is your overall view about art today?
Well, I think that art today in general, I don't think that we can put it so much in each country. I think in Europe, shall put in Europe. I think that art in Europe is a little bit like tired. Europe in general, it's like something that is more difficult, more tired. Europe gave it so much of art, so much of that it has to be take a little bit time to that come up again and the maximum. Because it's United States, it's China, it's all those countries now who's coming out, and America Latina and all that. But I think that stays in the Greek artist quality, the biggest quality that you can find in other countries in Europe. The only thing is, it's always a question, why the mentality of Greek people, they believe much more that somebody is important. I would say even a doctor, a dentist, an architect. I don't say it's only for an artist. When he's successful outside of that country, and then when he comes back in the country, that they find that he's a genius. But he has to go outside to improve outside of his country that he's good. Then they will accept it. So it's what happened a little bit in Greece for all the artists. They have to go out. They have to go out of the country. They have to be successful outside the country. Then they come back and they accept it. And I saw that with Krisa and Takis and so many other artists, no? But I think that it's our way to think. It's our way to think. Maybe we are not so sure of ourselves. I don't know. I always find it, not only in art, I find it in any other, other way. I told you, doctors or everything. But I think that we are the best in Europe. I think really that we are the best in Europe.
Yes, you're right. Uh, how about your daughter? She speaks any Greek. Is she also uh, identify herself? How it is the situation there with the next generation of people of Greek diasporas? Because in the States is always this struggle between belonging to the host society, but at the same time to fear any kind of assimilation, that we lose our values, we lose our culture. Uh, how is this in your case, with, let's say,
Well,
with your daughter as an example, right?
yes. Well, my daughter, of course, she was born in France. She went to school in France, university in France. Her first work was in France. Of course, she is in a way very much her friends. A lot of her friends, most of them because of school, of the university, of the work, is their French. But she's Greek. She's absolutely Greek. It's funny because sometimes she said, "No, mommy, I'm international. You are so Greek. I'm international." And then she's telling me something, or she's doing something so Greek. They say, "Oh, Iliana, be careful. What are you saying?" Yes, of course, I know. So she's very Greek. We have that house in Eritrea, Eritrea, l'île de Ebe, and she loved that house. And my grandchild also, of course, her husband, she's divorced. Her husband, he's French. My grandchild is half French, but they are Greek. I mean, the Greek is very strong. It's very, you can't take it out easily. It's impossible. It's coming back all the time. So her Greek is not so good. It's about like mine, but she speaks Greek, and with a terrible accent, like I'm speaking Greek with a terrible accent, because you have to be born in Greek to have the families, that you can't get it if you are not speaking when you are a baby. But she's my best friend, except to be my daughter. She's my best friend, and if she was not so Greek in her heart, she could not be my best friend.
So when you travel back to Greece, do you have this feeling that you return home? What is home for you? It is France, it is Greece, it is another place?
That has been always very complicated, because I had to change houses very much. It's not only the country, but I had to change it. My life was like this, change the studio, change places, go to one place or the other. Of course, when I come to Greece, it is a feeling that I'm going back home. It's like something, because I feel that, because it's a big excitement that I have inside me. I'm excited to open the door, to arrive home, to see my country. But I must say, most important for me, that I bring this inside me in any place I go. So I do my home, my Greek home, shall we say, any place. When I came to America Latina, that my husband, Fernando Botero, bring me to America Latina for the first time in Colombia, he told me, you have a shock. You have a shock because it's so different of Europe. It's something so different. You have never seen something like that. When I arrived there, I said, no, it is not. It is not at all. I feel that I'm in Greece. There are so many things similar. Happiness of life, music, a little bit deeper in conscience, not thinking of tomorrow, thinking of today. I mean, that we can say that is the error, that is bad. No, I love that. I love that. That inconscience, that feeling that it's like to live like it's the last minute of your life. I felt that so much in Colombia. And I made so much similar things that so many Colombians came to Greece. I said, come to Greece and see. It will be your second country because we are very much the same. So it's how what you bring with you and to put it in where you are coming. I think that is important.
Tell us about what inspires you to create either paintings or sculpture, and if the places you produce, you create your work, place makes a difference. If you create something in France, is different than creating in Greece or another place. How your creative process is affected by landscapes, by places, and also what inspires you to start a new work?
You know, I don't think at all that, of course, when I go to Greece, I love the light because my studio is very well lighted and I have all the light of the, I don't need to put the electric light. And so I have the beautiful light who comes in. Even sometimes I have to be very careful because that's too much. That is a difference of lighting. My studio in Monaco is fine. It's like small. The Italian studio that I have, that's the biggest I have, that I will have all my monumental sculptures and everything. That I love it because I feel my atmosphere. But that is not, it is not more than that. It's not the place who is important. It's not how is the studio, big, small, enormous. I could work in very, very small studios. And it's what you feel that you have to say. Is you are living inside yourself, like in a limbo. That is only what you are trying to say, to be more precise, to try to be more perfect, going more, much longer, that you are in the right street, that you didn't stay, that you are not losing your capacity. It's all that, and you are I'm trying to work, and when I finish the work, the only thing why I begin another one is because I want to correct the one I have just finished. And it's going on like this, and on like this, and on like this. And to be more clear in what I want to say, and what I want to be sure that I'm not wrong, that I have found the right way. And it's not the place. You know, I was doing, when we were traveling, because my second half, when I had to travel also a lot, and I didn't want it to lose time. Another time, they were not so strict with the plane. I had a little box, of a shoebox. And in that shoebox, I had some plasticine. It's actually clay with oil. And I was doing small little maquettes because I was traveling so far. I would go to New York after coming back, or going to Colombia, then coming back. We did to Japan because I had big exhibition in Japan, and then in India, and all those traveling. So I was working in those little maquettes, small maquettes, in the plane when it was 8, 9, 10, 11 hours of plane. So, and I found it fantastic things that I find in doing small maquettes like this that I kept. Actually, my jewelry, because I'm doing also my daughter who takes care of all my jewelry, of the construction and the galleries and everything. She's taken out more than 20 years. I found out and begin that because I bought the maquettes that I was doing in the plane. I put them in the studio. It was the first idea of a sculpture. Then one day I saw one and I said, oh, why shall not to do a pin with that? And I did like this, my first jewelry. And I've never changed the way. They are sculptures portable. Sculptures portable and they come in jewelry, in gold or in wood or in marble, but that's always sculpture portable. And they were at the beginning, it was in that little box that I was doing the jewelry traveling. So you see the studio is not very important. You need the country there I was in the plane, I was in air. No, yes. No right place, nowhere. I was nowhere. So when you have something in your head that you cultivate and you try to be most specified that what you want and what you want to do, that is the only thing important, nothing else.
I see. Because you paint and also you're a sculptor, do you see a common ground, or there are two different forms of expression? How you manage to be you know, a multitasker in that way?
Multitasker? I don't understand. I don't understand what that word meant.
That you paint and also you create a sculpture. Are
Yes.
those connected? Are related? Different? Is more difficult? One is more difficult than the other. How you?
Yes, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you
Yeah,
fluent
yeah.
in different mediums?
Yes,
Yeah.
understand. No, exactly. No, I understand. No, actually, the medium change, not the style, not what I'm trying to prove to myself, that I have find something that I can express, that is really me, doesn't change. Actually, Nora Jaime put one photo that I think is very, very good, what she gave it to you. It is the last work that I did now, that actually will go also to Dubai, where I have an exhibition, and that is the big aquarelle on wood and collage. That's it's paper, wood, and aquarelle. And near that, it's very large, very, very large triptych. And near that, she put also one of my sculptures in black, patin black, and red painting. And when you see the photo, you see that it's so much part one of the other. It's always the obsession, the same obsession. In the jewelry, the same. If I say jewelry, that I prefer to say portable sculptures, is the same. Is always to try to put the composition of the volumes in big or small, or painting or volumes, the harmony between them, and the conception of the line. It is the same in a collage, the same in a painting. The exception, the difference in a painting, in a sculpture, I was saying a sculpture, that is that you do 4 compositions in the same work. A painting, a sculpture has to be very well composed. Frontal, back, that makes 2, and one side and the other side, that makes 4. And the four compositions have to match between them, who makes the thing much more complicated. In a painting, on a collage, you create your background. And creating your background, you have only one view, the frontal. And it makes it really, I think sculpture is much more complicated because of that. And it's not only that it has to be the harmony between the 4 C's, the 4 places that you see, but also it has been perfect when you see the sculptures higher or lower. I was so impressed. One is my greatest memory. So impressed when I had the chance to see in the Acropole the caryatide, when they put it on the floor and then they take it out and they put it in the museum, because of course they will be destroyed if they stay on the Acropolis. And I had the opportunity to be absolutely at 10 centimeters from them. And I saw all the exaggeration of the face, the nose so big, the mouth and everything that there, it was not in proportion of the rest. Of course, why? Because you could see them from very high. And that when you see them from very high, they were perfect. That was the great lesson that I really, I never forget. it is the same thing that I was when I was in I went to Mexico, and in Mexico I went to the Anthropologic Museum of Mexico. That I had really a shock, a big shock. There was a second big shock I had about what I saw for sculpture there. It was really something absolutely incredible. So it was also the Olmec sculpture and the Maya sculpture. And you could see a small sculpture, Olmec that had not more than 50 centimeters, that it was monumental. If you do the photo and you don't know the size, you can see that the most monumental sculptures, because monumental is not saying because it's big. Big is a building. Big is, I don't know, like grow up to stick things and pick it out. Monumental is the composition, the volumes between them. It can be 15 centimeters monumental, and you do a sculpture of 20 meters, and it's not monumentality. And I learned that with the Olmec and Maya sculptures, and that you find in Greece all the time, monumentality, even if it's very small. So that was a great lesson that one must never forget. I saw also in Colombia, the Quilmacha, that it was also incredible sculptures, so contemporary, so like the Cycladic. It's a big lesson. When you see a sculpture, Cycladic sculpture, it is everything there, everything. Simplicity also gives you the possibility to make it even more monumental. It's why a reason why I became abstract is to let me because I was figurative, because of the obsession of quality and the good technique. I was figurative for a long time, but then I slowly went to abstraction, because abstraction gave me more. I was feeling more free to go further in what I believe in to be monumental in what I'm doing, to harmony and perfection.
See, so I understand that art is enigmatic. Art is a form of communication, and when you communicate what you want to, do you make it obvious? Sometimes is more hidden for the audience, for the people to see. How different society, people in different countries receive your work. Do you see a difference in the education of people regarding art in different cultures?
Very good question. Very good question. That's always we think something that I don't think that one has. Of course, there are shall we say, not a few. No, I will not say a few, but not so many people who are really concerned about art. It's not. Of course, they admire art and they may go to exhibition. They see a lot of things. They can be also collectors and everything, but it's not the only purpose of their life. So, but I always believe that a piece of work doesn't need that you have to write on the side the explanation what the person who look at it have to see. Sometimes now it's very much that in the very contemporary art. It's an explanation, because you don't understand what you are seeing, and of course you don't understand. But I don't think that you need explanation. I think it's what the person feels. Everyone has to find what he's looking for. And I had sometimes some comments of people who didn't have anything to do with art, who gave me a comment that I said, that I write a good point. I'm a good point. It can feel that. And and the enthusiasm of people, some person who are not absolutely never buy a piece of art or nothing, and they feel something strong. But I don't think that art needs to be explained. I don't think so. If you feel it, it gives you peace, if you feel good with it, if you want to see it again, if you want to touch it. When I do all those exhibitions, my monumental sculptures, so many times, I remember the Mayor de Paris asked me that, don't you want that you put a little card that is not to be touched? Because, you know, the patine is, the bronze is very delicate. I said, no, please, I will do the patine again if it's the case. When I see somebody caressing one of my sculptures, I know that I did a good work, that I did something. And it is very important. Or when I do with a painting and the person come back and want to see it again, doesn't matter if buy it or not. That is nothing to do. It's just wanted to see it again. That is the thing is important. And not need explanation. I don't think so.
Tell us about the pieces that are in this present exhibition with the Hellenic American project here at Queen's College, and Tiffany's contribution to all this. Tell us about the specific works that now we see in this present exhibition. Tell us
what present exhibition? Yes. Yes. That the triptych of wood and the sculpture.
Yes.
That is, yes, that is, it's a trip, you know, I like very much also, I like the bronze, I love the marble. For me, the marble is the thing, the most important. Of course, for me, the only a piece of marble, I think it's something so precious, so much incredible. But in that case, I love also very much the wood, and I had that's a very big triptych of wood, but that was collage. It was a moment, of course, I was doing the same idea of composition and trying to be very, because the lines be the most harmony that's possible, but I was also very anxious, not anxious, I will say a little bit shocked, shall we say that, and that I was beginning a big war with myself because I just knew that I had a very bad cancer. So I put a lot in it. I put a lot in it, and I felt very, very, very much better, because even after I have done it, even, you know, if your priority is to do a piece of art and not to put in art, is my priority, not to put what your feelings and what you feel, if you feel well, if you feel bad, if you're in a good mood, if you're not in a good mood, if you have suffer or not suffer. Even if you give your priority, if that's something that you want to do that is the most near that your conception that is in art, that comes out also. It's coming out. Even it's you can't control it totally. It must not be the priority, but it is there. And in that big triptych, it was the case.
Excellent. How, as an artist and as a cosmopolitan citizen that you are, you experience this pandemic that we all suffering, the lockdown, that, you know, at one point, in one hand, you used to travel a lot, you had this need to communicate your art with people, and now we see that this is not very easy anymore because of the pandemic. What is your experience of this new pandemic, and also if you have something to, as a critique or your understanding of the racial injustice that is around the world now, the movements around the world for racial justice, how you perceive and experience all this?
Yes, it is totally a tragedy. It's a tragedy because the epidemic, first of all, there are so many people who die and will continue to die. It is something that never in our days we could expect something so dramatic, because we did so many things. We go to the moon. We're doing everything. Everything, computers, the things. I mean, so many things. That is now even robots, and that we cannot be sure to do nothing for that little animal, that little thing, that's nothing, that is destroying the whole world. And we are in front of that with some little capacity to control it. And not only this, it affects the whole world. It affects people that it's worse in countries, very poor countries, who cannot afford all the medicine and everything that we had in Europe or in New York, in the United States, or any place that can afford that. They cannot afford it, and they're just dying, like Brazil. That it is, and I don't think really that will come back like we were before. It is impossible. It's the worst war that we had. I was thinking that maybe we'll get in another war, because that's the natural, the war needs to be, so the world continue. But this one is worse, because you don't see the enemy. You don't know. And so innocent people losing everything. It's really horrible. Now, we are protected more than so many other people, and it is, I know that it's unjust, but it's like this, and I think that we have to be patient, and we have to accept it, because we are in better condition, so much better condition than other people in the world. And to be sincere, for me personally, it didn't change very much my life. Of course, because of my illness, I am in total danger, and I cannot go out. I cannot do nothing because I have the second operation. It's absolutely impossible. But it didn't change my life, really, because I have my studio in the house here in Monaco. I was working the same, like I'm working every day, even before that drama. And of course, I don't go out. I be careful when I have to do it. No, and I have the most important that I communicate very well with the children, my grandchildren, with all the children of my husband, Fernando. We have communication. Of course, I miss them very much, but I feel myself very fortunate, because also very fortunate that Fernando and I, we live very much out of the social life and this and that. We don't, because it doesn't interest us. He's working like crazy. I'm working like crazy. We're happy to be after together. It has not been a problem. And what I'm working on this moment doesn't change because it's the coronavirus or not. I'm trying to be the same, continue my way to think, to work, but I am very concerned that what's happened with the world, because I'm very afraid that there will be so much employment, that there will be a country that people will die of hunger. It is something terrible, because as I have a lot of contact with America Latina, I see the disaster that it will be. That I'm very, very concerned, and that may give me like a depression of what is the young have in front of them, because all that was happening now is the young who paid the price, and it's terrible, really terrible.
Very well said. Now that we're close to conclude our interview, I would like you to tell us, or to communicate a message or share your experience about being a female in the arts. Since our exhibition here at Queen's College and Hub is about female artists of the diaspora, does it make a difference to be a female or a male in the arts? It is some kind of egalitarian in the art world, or the struggle of acceptance of inequality exists also in the arts? And what is your message to the young female artists?
Well, it will be always a difference. We can't help that. It will be that. The difference is much smaller, but it will be a difference. We are also done different. We have to accept it in a way, but it was horrible. I mean, it was very unjust. It's not only in art, in everything. It was very, very bad, and it will be always unjust. It's like this, but we can't. For the young women who's artists now, it's great. It's so much better. It's so much more acceptable in every way that it's not bad. Before it was even 20 years, but even longer, it was just not acceptable. It was not acceptable. They were thinking that a woman was capable only to do little flowers and little aquarels or something like this. And it was really something very different of a man. Today, no. And I think more will go, more it will be the same. And I see now that not only in art, but in every other thing, the women have more and more her place. And it will be always a different. It will be always a different. But that's not a drama. But it will be some that I think women will be appreciated as much a man. But it needs a little more time yet. We have to prove it. We have to prove it more.
I see. How do you see the role of the market in nowadays regarding the arts? It is the market that defines or determines what is to be produced, or the artist has a saying? How the market and the whole chain of galleries and buyers and collectors is today? How the market affects art? Well,
now I think the market will be very affected with the coronavirus, of course. It will be affected because people can't move and everything. It has been, and as everything, I mean, when in the industry of cars or I don't know what, and with the employment so much and all this, that affects terribly. So art will be affected also. That's true. But we have to think something. Honestly, art had coming, the market of art, it was exaggerated, totally exaggerated. It's not possible that there were millions and millions of dollars or anything, millions, content of millions, that piece of art was to be paid. I was thinking something like it was Piero La Francesca who was coming out to pre-sale. What money they will give for that? What money if they give by millions for a contemporary art? That it was also not normal. So I think in every bad thing it's a good thing. I think maybe all that crisis, when things will come more clear, then life will begin again. It will be different for everybody, for everything, for every industry, but it will be also good things. It will be good things that every country will maybe provide more things by themselves, not thinking of they have to take it from China or I don't know, India, and I don't know, then when happens something terrible, we stay with nothing. So many things. And in art, it will be the same. Maybe we arrive to prices more normal, and it would not be a speculation in art. It would be just paying a right price for a great piece of art. That's it. So, but it will be a long period, very difficult till we arrive to that point, I think.
Excellent. Finally, what is art for you? Do you have any regrets dealing all your life with art, being an artist? Do you have regrets? You'd rather had another, trade, another occupation, or art? It is the central piece of your life. And also, how do you see Greece now? Greece came out from 10 years of austerity and tremendous, sacrifices by the people. Do you think that Greeks appreciate art and art can be supportive to a society like Greece?
I will ask to begin with your second question. I know Greece had passed a very difficult moment, terrible moment. Now it was going much better. Unfortunately, terribly came the coronavirus, who put them again in a very big difficulty, and will be, because of course the economy, we are living of tourism and all that, it will be very difficult this year, and maybe go longer, we don't know, it's uncertain. But I found out that the Greek always find a way to survive. It shows in so many, all the years that they pass. And they have the capacity to enjoy life and love life with very little, aspiring to have more, but still they are really, as you say in French, the bon vivant, and that helps a lot. And I think even in art, I don't see that it will be more difficult or worse than in any other country. They will pass everything the same. But I'm even more optimist with Greece. I'm optimist because they adapt themselves. As you say, the Greeks have been always in every part of the world, traveling because they have to find the way to survive and coming back in their country. Well, it's the same thing. We always have survived. We are actually a very, very strong country. And even with some defects, like all the countries, and we suffer that. But I'm not so worried, not at all. And I think they will do good, and maybe better than everybody else. Now, the second question about being an artist. I think that the biggest gift that life gave me is that give me that need that I had when even I was very young, to be an artist. I don't say to be a successful artist. That is not important. Just to be an artist. Just to have the joy, the satisfaction to be able to create. Sometimes I'm thinking, how other people can survive? They don't have that need, the creation, how they survive in life, how they survive. So sometimes I'm surprised to see people happy without that need of creation. For me, that is something that is totally a need, like bringing out, bringing in.
I see.
Did I say all in your questions?
Yes.
I don't have voice anymore.
I would like to make a deal with you if things opening up. Do you think that, and we'll try to have a physical exhibition here in New York. Do you think you can come to New York for a physical exhibit and not just a virtual one in the future?
Nico, I wish. You know, in my situation, I can't do plans. I just can't do plans. I'm happy to be there today. I hope tomorrow and after tomorrow, but I can't do plans. I wish that I can travel. I hope to go in August in Greece with my husband. That is my big hope. Of course, I'm not going to Dubai for a very big exhibition they do for me. When Noah had my exhibition, I could not come. I was too fragile. And you never know, you know. There are miracles. I believe in miracles. I believe in miracles. Actually, it's a miracle already. So, but I cannot do plans, because if I do a plan, that I begin to be anxious. Because I cannot promise. I not promise anything anymore. I go on, and I think that every day is a gift. That, yes.
Excellent. I just ask this in order to make you promise in public that there is a chance to come here. We like to see you in person, so that's why. So thank you.
Okay, I'll try. I will try hard. I will try. I promise if I can come to New York, if I can come to I have your telephone, everything, and we meet. That I can promise. If Excellent. I'm in New York, I will for sure. I would like myself very much to meet you. Excellent. It will be an honor for me.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And
okay.
If you have anything else to say, please go ahead. Your last message to the Greeks of the diaspora. Yeah.
What? I didn't understand. We are.
No, if you like to say the last word, you know, to the Greeks of the diaspora. I mean, a greeting. Your greetings.
A greeting. Yes. I'll just ask to the Greeks to continue to be the real Greek. Already, they're the winners. Only to be Greek is to be a winner. Okay?
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you to you. Thank you to you. And thank you to this.
It's such an honor to get to meet you. I've been dreaming of this for a while. I have one of your monographs on my coffee table. So it's been such an honor to just hear your entire story from yourself, no less. And thank you so much for lending us your works for the exhibition.
Thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you to you.
Sophia,
thank you to you. Yes?
If you think to donate a piece of your work to Greece College, to the university, and to the HELLENIC Mega Project, we are more than happy to receive any.
Okay, I will
as a permanent exhibit now. So think about that.
Okay, okay. I will speak to Nora about that. Okay, and to see what I can do with great pleasure.
Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you very much, and I hope.
Thank you to all of you. Thank you very much.
And I hope.
And take care. Be careful. Be careful. Take care.